And we are live. Hey, family. Hello, hello. Welcome to another installment of JMMB Goal Getter Live. We are broadcasting here live from everybody's house. It's a Tuesday that we're doing this live, but whether you're catching us live or on the replay, thank you for joining us. It's great to be here again for another awesome discussion. As you know, JMMB, we've been bringing you these live sessions every single week since about March, when we started going through this COVID-19 pandemic crisis that we're still trying to process what is going on. But hey, we've been here. We've been having some awesome discussions, starting out with helping to bring you the information you need to help to navigate the financial and economic impact of the crisis. But in Jamaica right now, we are in the early stages of what they've been calling the reopening of the economy. And so we know informational needs are still very much there to give you the guidance, the insight you need about financial things of life and lifestyle. But we're still here. We're still giving you the information. Hey, Shanique, here and ready again. I love my regular peeps. I love my new peeps. Hey, Gian, nice to see you joining us from YouTube. So yes, guys, drop us a comment. Tell us where you're watching us from. Hey, Fitzroy, what up? Richardo. So whether you're a regular or a newbie, we are happy to have you. Live replay, JMMB client or not, we's all family. We're going through this thing together. Hey, Nikisha. Hey, Jennifer, Glendorf. Love it. Welcome. Tell us where you're watching us from. And guys, as usual, you know the drill, right? Call whoever you think who needs to get the information here tonight. Call them, WhatsApp them, text them, DM them, tag them. Tell them they need to come right here to be a part of another awesome discussion where we're going to be talking about how to be set for life. Can I get an amen who want to be set for life? What's up, Donnell? Born Jamaican. Hey, Raquel, Adrian. Hi, Natasha. What we doing tonight? Manny Petty, Facial, Bookshelf. Tell us what you're up to. Hey, Carlene from St. Anne. Roger from Philadelphia. Man, we have an international audience. All right. Hey, guys. Yeah, man. Tell us hi. Tell us where you're watching from. So let's jump right to it, guys. So here's the deal, right? We're talking tonight about how to be set for life, straight up, right? Financially, we're talking. We're not dealing with any marriage relationship. This is the wrong webinar for that. We're going to be talking about how can you be financially set for life. Now, let's just be clear. We're not going to be telling you how to buy the Benz, the Beamer, and the big house on the hilltop. I'm so sorry, people. That's not necessarily what set for life always means, although it would be nice to be set for life, right? With the Benz and the Beamer and the house on the hill, perhaps. But what we're talking about is financial security for life, ultimately being debt-free, so you can basically coast into the rest of your life and certainly retire financially secure. And that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. And we have two great guests. One is our subject matter expert from JMMB, and the other is a guest who is going to begin to share what are the early stages of his journey as he looks forward to preparing himself to be set for life. Hey, Ingrid, hey, what's happening? Welcome. Love to see it. Hey, Maggie from Spanish Town, Desiree, love it. So guys, this is the deal. Let's introduce our guests. First and foremost, we're going to introduce the guest, right? The person who is not a member of the JMMB team per se, but still a part of the family. Everybody here is family. He is a young gentleman who I'm going to let him tell you a little bit about himself to kick us off. But he is Clifton Rookwood. What's up, Clifton? How you doing?
Hi, Carrie-Ann. How are you doing?
Good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us on the live. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Clifton. What do you do and what do you do in your spare time?
Well, so I am a 20-year-old male. I am an old boy of St. George's College, one of the best all-boys schools in Jamaica. I'm also currently a customer care associate at Conduit. And yes, I love to surf the internet. I love to travel. I love to put things in place to be set for life, pretty much.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Clifton. So Clifton is young, no sliding into the DMs, ladies, as I always like to say. But Clifton is a part of our BPO industry, is part of the BPO workforce in Jamaica. And he's 20 years old, quite young. So Clifton is just starting out on his journey, and he's just going to share his perspective and his experience so far. And we're going to be looking into the future of where Clifton could be once he continues on this path. And then our second guest is, as I mentioned earlier, our subject matter expert. She is our corporate manager for fund services. I call her the retirement expert lady. She is Camille Stair, awesome at what she does and knows all of her stuff. Hey, Camille.
Hello, good night.
How are you? Thank you so much for joining us here tonight.
I'm fabulous.
Great. So tell us a little bit about what you do at JMMB, Camille.
Oh, wow, that is a loaded question. So as the corporate manager of fund services, I'm in charge of sales and services for pensions and also unit trusts. And I also do a little bit of property management. So that is generally, in essence, what it is that I do at JMMB Fund Managers as the corporate manager of fund services.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us, Camille. And we see that, you guys have your fan club already. Desiree is already saying, "Go Clifton" from Facebook. So we know that we know that you guys have your fan club. We have more people joining us. MJ is saying, "Hey, Camille" from Facebook. Roger is a George's old boy, it sounds like. So, I mean, we don't want the old Marians and the KC and the JC fighting up in the comments, but it's all good. Clifton is entitled to his opinion about which all boys school is the best, but it's all good. We love it. We love it. So great. So, guys, let's jump right into it, right? So, when we talk about being set for life, we're ultimately looking at what the end game is going to be for everybody, right? We're talking about what do we need to do to ensure that we are financially secure until we leave this earth. Essentially, we're not being morbid, we're just being real. And nobody knows when we're going to leave this earth. But the thing is, people are living longer these days. So we can safely assume, God forbid, due to any other mitigating circumstance, we really are going to be living for quite a number of years. And so the question becomes, how do we become set for life? And this is an important topic, because it involves a lot of it is about retirement as well, and how we're going to retire at the end of our working lives. And this topic is important, folks, we find, because not a lot of people pay attention to the fact that they do need to put things in place as early as possible to be set for life in a way that allows for that financial security to be there when they need it. And I think I don't know if people even realize what's happening in the Jamaican culture and society right now, and we've heard it too, where people think that their children are their pension plan, so they hug up their children or their grandchildren. This is my pension. Right? Not knowing that the reality is that child may grow up and with all the best intentions in the world may not be able to support you, themselves, and the children coming behind them. We heard of things like the black tax, which is an American concept that, people, when they grow up and they start to work, they not only have to take care of themselves, they have to take care of extended family or parents. And what it does is it puts people in a cycle of not being able to be financially independent and be able to be set for life and retire comfortably as soon as possible. And so that is really is the basis of what really needs to be a real conversation about what people really need to do to be set for life. And again, we're not talking about buying the big mansion and buying the expensive car. We're talking about financial security. We're talking about not being weighed down with a ton of debt and just making sure you have what you need to live, right? And yes, enjoy life as well as best as possible. So this is going to be an awesome discussion. And again, we love the engagement. Hi, Camila. We love the JMMB family coming in. And yes, Natasha, funds manager as opposed to fund manager. It's all good. Hey, Nasheen, welcome. Marvin from St. Lucia. We love our Caribbean brothers and sisters. So we are going to jump right into it with our discussion tonight. So let's go. Okay. Now, when we talk about set for life, as I said, where the ultimate end state that we're looking at is really retirement, folks, right? And the reality is, let's just keep it real. Retirement and end of life money management, so to speak, is the last thing on most of our minds, right? And I certainly was guilty for that, of that for quite some time, right? And the reality is that while we want to enjoy life and so on, we want to enjoy life right now, we really don't want to think about the future. The reality is that we have to do so, right? And I want to start off with Clifton, because Clifton, it's early stages for you. Again, you're 20 years old.
Yes.
You would have just kind of started out on your journey to plan for your future, to set up the rest of your life, and ultimately to retire. What are your views right now on planning for later life and ultimately retirement?
Well, no, I think planning for early retirement is very vital as someone in today's society, because a lot of agencies, a lot of places, they tend not to want to pay somebody off for the years of services. So you having that little amount of cash or whatever money you would have set aside for yourself would be great. It would allow you to leave a legacy. It would allow you to not be worried or stressed when it comes on to you retiring and say, oh, where I'm going to get this money from. And as you stated earlier, some parents think that their children are their pension, when that's not necessarily the case. So I think the whole planning for your retirement is very good. It's very vital. It reduces stress too, because at the age that you'd most likely retire, you'll be susceptible to a lot of complications, sicknesses, such and so forth. So I think that you planning for a retirement will, in turn, make you a healthier person. So yeah, that's pretty much my view on you planning for your retirement.
Thanks for that. So you would have just recently started then. So what triggered your interest in actually now settling down and starting your retirement plan and getting ready to set up yourself for the rest of your life?
Well, what triggered me, to be honest, is that I'm a very determined person. I'm a go getter. So anything that I put my mind to, I tend to go after it. So with me setting up my retirement, it just goes into play. I don't have to worry about when I retire, if I'm going to worry about having cash to do anything or so forth. So I just think that me starting from early would be a great decision. And at the end of the day, I think that starting from early would give you a more would kind of have you concrete or grounded in whatever you're doing, so you would enjoy whatever you have been doing for over the contribution that you would have made for over the past year that you'd have been putting towards your retirement. So yeah.
Okay, great. So that's a good perspective. And I guess it could be arguable as to whether or not you're the typical young adult or not. How long have you been working?
Well, I've been working for 9 months.
Okay, so you really just started, right?
Yes.
And again, we're talking about younger people who may not see planning for the future and planning for retirement as something that is something they should be focusing on right now. And maybe they may say, boy, I don't have a lot of money. And let's just keep it real. You work in a BPO, and I don't think
Yeah.
it's a secret that persons just starting working in a BPO, they don't earn a ton of money. But the point is, you made a start, right? And I think that that's the admirable thing. So
Yes.
what would you say, before we flip over to Camille now, what would you say then, Clifton, to young people who say, boy, I'm not really ready for this thing, and I'm going to wait till I get some more money before I start? What would you say?
Yeah. Well, what I would say to persons who are very hesitant in starting a retirement plan is to go ahead and do it. Go ahead and embank on whatever decision that you make, because it's going to benefit you at the end of the day. And I think that persons always say, oh, I'm not making a lot of money and so on and so forth. But I think at the end of the day, if every mickle makes a muckle. So if you should save $20 every week for 5 days out of the week, that's $400. It may not be $400 a week, 4 months in a 4 weeks in a month. So that's $2,000 a month. So if you could put that, well, not $2,000, $1,600 rather a month. If you could put that, it may not contribute that amount to your retirement. It may not be a lump sum if you were paying like $5,000 and so on, but that mickle would end up to be a muckle at the end of the day, and you would basically have something at the end of the day to say, yeah, I have worked for this is what I would have done, and you would have basically say that yes, this is something that I have gotten for myself. So I think that persons that who are very hesitant should go ahead, set the priority for yourself, because you are going to be the sole beneficiary at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And we see people giving their thumbs up to you. Wise young man, Clifton, right, Natasha? It's absolutely correct. So the key is to start early, start now, and you don't need to start with a lot. And yes, the more that you can save, the more that you can invest, the better. But don't let the fact that you don't have a lot now to start with stop you. And I think that's a great nugget right there. And we're going to hear more about Clifton and his journey. But we're going to flip over to Camille, because I know some of the big questions. So the first thing is, not everybody is 20 years old like Clifton, right? I don't know, like me. And then they may be like, well, I never started at 20. And worse, Camille, I want to enjoy my life right now, right? I'm really not ready to talk about no retirement conversation. I mean, is there a way for me to balance being able to enjoy life right now, acquire the necessary things that I would like to get, such as a car, a home, etc.? How do I then, if you could just kind of give us a sense, Camille, how do we, or anybody watching, how do we enjoy life now, plus acquire the assets that we are necessary, I guess, like a home, a car, and still retire comfortably? Is it all possible? How do we go about doing that?
Carrie, that is an excellent question. And yes, it is all possible. And one of the first things is that what you want to do is have a conversation with the right financial partner. And one of the things that I always tell persons about is what we call the ABC plan. So it is because, yes, you want to enjoy your life, no, but you still want to ensure that you are making the necessary preparations. And the ABC plan is 1, auditing your finances, action and accountability, and B, putting in place a budget. So even for myself, that is a challenge, but you need to follow these steps. And C, when you're looking on C, that is consistency and control of your expenses. Because when you have this underpinning, what it is doing, it is unlocking the power for you to achieve all of your financial goals. So one of the things, even with auditing your finances, that is an example. So I would have had a conversation with a client, and with the auditing of your finances, I would have said, look on the bills that you're getting with respect to your cable and your internet, and do you need this particular package? And they would have made an assessment and said, no, I don't need this cable package, and as such, I can change to a different cable package, and they actually saved around $3,000. Now that is $3,000. When you multiply that by 12, that is $36,000, and that can go towards whatever financial goal that you want, and also ensuring that it can also go into your retirement portfolio. So you need to have that underpinning and a framework, because when you have this, you're going to be creating financial habits, and that is what we want, and that is what we're excited about here at JMMB. We wanted to create the financial habits so that you can feel empowered, energized, excited about achieving all of your financial goals, and retirement being one of that.
Thank you for that, Camille. So let's go back on that. So we're talking about, guys, you got that ABC. So we're going to be auditing our finances, meaning seeing where we're at, what we have, and so on, and where we'd like to go. Setting up our budget, where everything has its bucket, everything has its place. We know what our expenses are, where there are opportunities to call, and get rid of some of the ones that need not be there. On the income side as well, look at our income, see how there are ways to even increase income where that's possible. And then consistency is trying to stay on track, right? And making sure that we stick to that plan after, of course, you would have had the discussion with your advisor. Thanks so much, Camille. So, I mean, it is possible, as you say, as long as you have that plan, you have that, I love that ABC acronym, how you set it out there. So the question then is, Camille, when then should I start my retirement plan? Because this is a big thing, because a lot of people think that, you really need to start thinking about retirement when you hit 40. Retirement is not a conversation for 20-year-old people and 30-year-old people. And we know that's really not the case. When should we start, Camille? Tell us.
You should start now. So that is the action, the action in the ABC plan also. So it's the action and the accountability. So it is starting now. And what you want to do, you want to, again, it's a matter of you have to hold yourself accountable and you have to put in place, you have to be proactive with respect to the conversation and saying, okay, what is it that I may need? And then you move forward in a step-by-step manner, because what you want to do ultimately say, okay, fine, I'm making an assessment at this point in time, whether it is you're at age 20, 30, 40, you're making an assessment. So even if you're starting late, one of the key things is that there may be a gap that you need to cover. So if you are starting late, say age 50, you may join the JMMB Retirement Solutions. And as such, what we may recognize is that you need to cover that gap. So we will offer supplemental solutions so that at the end of the day, you are getting the quality of life that you deserve.
Okay, so we need to start now, guys. Everybody getting the memo, all our viewers in the comments and so on. We need to start now. Never too young to start. And if you're not too young right now, right? All those, Gen Xers and so on, start now. That's the key thing. So once we've decided that we need to start now, how do we set up that plan, Camille? What should we do? Just break it down for us.
All right, so in setting up that plan, what we're going to look on, and what is important is that when you're looking on your retirement plan, it's not divorced from your other financial goals, whether it is as you get in a car, house, it is not divorced. Every single thing is interconnected. So with respect to debt management, with respect to creating an emergency fund, with respect to wealth creation, every single thing is interconnected. Because when you look even at debt management, when you have effectively managed your debt, you would have that breather, that breathing room to ensure, okay, fine, because I would have, managed my debt, I would have given myself a little breathing room. Maybe I can put an extra $1,000 or $2,000 into my retirement account. So you have to look on it. And at JMMB, we are very big on that. We have to have that holistic 360-degree approach, because every single thing is interconnected. One of the key things that we would have seen coming out of COVID-19 is that persons would not have an emergency fund. When you don't have an emergency fund, what we would have seen happen with some of our clients is that they're actually going to go on early retirement. And that means that it is going to be a smaller pot of funds that we're going to use to secure your monthly payments going forward. So when you recognize that every single thing is interconnected, you will have a more broad view of how it is that you are going to move forward and achieve every single financial goal that you have. It's almost as if you're creating a vision board for yourself. And when you recognize that every single thing is interconnected, that is when you set yourself up to win and actually be set for life.
So the advice you're giving then, first of all, I'm hearing, Camille, is that we need to start, first of all, making sure we have our emergency fund in place, right? And what is an emergency fund again? I know we've discussed it before on this live. It's equivalent to
around 3 months, 3 or 6 months. It varies. So you want to have that put aside, because that supports it almost like a buffer. Because you don't want to be going into your savings. You want to ensure that you have that buffer just in case something like this happens and you can't, but COVID-19, in case something happens and you don't have to go into your retirement account. So every single thing, and that is why it is a 360-degree conversation, and we have to recognize that every single thing is interconnected. Because one of the key things I was saying, even for an emergency fund, using your credit card, that is not an emergency fund. You're actually racking up more debt. So you have to be mindful and recognize that every single thing is interconnected.
Okay, so we're setting up the emergency fund, which is about 3 to 6 months worth of your expenses put aside
Right.
for eventualities, right? And then having done that, you're now having the conversation in terms of your investment plan, as it were, in terms of, okay, how much you're going to be investing, having, sorted out with your budget and so on, looking at how much debt you have to carry, how you're going to work to clean that off, and then of course including in that what you plan to save for retirement. Have I kind of summed it up? Is there anything I'm missing?
That is the summary of it. Yes.
Okay, great. All right, because I'm learning too, guys, so I need to make sure that I'm getting all the points. Great. No, Camille, I know that when people talk about retirement, there are a lot of us who work with companies that have a retirement or pension plan, as they call it, in place, right? There are a lot of companies who have that. Either they offer it directly or they give their employees through some sort of an arrangement with a financial institution like a JMMB, and I know other financial institutions offer a similar solution as well. And Clifton is going to come back and share about his experience where employees would give a portion, sometimes it's mandatory, but it's a portion of their income into that retirement scheme or pension scheme, pension plan, whatever the nomenclature is. You can correct me when you're responding. What advice do you have to give to persons who are employed, who are contributors to a plan like that? What's your advice to them?
All right. So, firstly, if you are a part of a pension arrangement, whether it is a retirement scheme or a superannuation fund, any pension arrangement, so you come in and you're having a conversation with us. We're going to ask you, okay, yes, you're a part of a pension arrangement. And the next question is, so how much is it that you're contributing? Because based on what obtains, you can contribute up to a maximum of 20% of your earnings for the year. So, with that, what we'd say, okay, fine, if you're doing only 10 or so, you're doing 5% for yourself and the employer is matching 5%, and you're only doing another 5%, which gives you a total of 15%, you have the bandwidth to do an additional 5%. So we'd want to encourage and say, take on this opportunity because you're getting a tax benefit. So that is one of the key things. So take on the opportunity and see how it is that you can maximize your contributions to your pension arrangement. Then now we're going to say, okay, fine. Based on the information that you get now, because you're supposed to get a statement, you're supposed to get some projections, and it's supposed to give you the information that says, based on what it is that you're currently contributing at retirement, whether it is at age 60 or 65, you are possibly only covering probably with 40%. Around 40% or 50% of your final salary. Because what we're aiming for and what is usually recommended is that you want to be covering 70 to around 80% of your final salary when you have stopped actively working. So if we recognize, based on the fact that, okay, you have maximized your contributions to a pension arrangement, our next thing is that what are the solutions that we can offer to supplement that? Because in your retirement portfolio, there are different layers. So the first layer is that you're going to be getting, once you're contributing to the national insurance scheme, you're going to be getting that first benefit, right? Then after that, the second one is the fact that you're a part of a pension arrangement and you're going to be getting, a monthly amount when you stop working. So that is a second element of your retirement portfolio. The third one now is that if there is, so you may be getting rental income from maybe a property that you own, or you may be doing a hustle. So you recognize that there may be other sources that you're going to use in your retirement portfolio. So if we recognize that there is a gap, we're going to be offering other portfolio solutions, tax advantage instruments that can possibly supplement your overall retirement portfolio, because what we're aiming for at the end of the day is that we can adequately cover around 70 to 80% of your final salary.
Camille, let me tell you something. You said something earlier, and I made a note because I'm going to have to ask you. You said tax advantages. So the first and foremost thing is that when we speak about persons who are part of an organization that offers a pension plan, as it were, or in partnership with a financial institution where you can make these kinds of contributions to some kind of retirement scheme, retirement fund, etc., the popular question is, how much should I be putting in this fund. And you're saying that the maximum amount you can put in, I think, is 20%. And that's 20%. And then sometimes employers may or may not match that. But obviously, the more you save, the more you invest, the better off you'll be ultimately at the end of the day. But you said something about increasing that amount as much as possible to the 20% if you can, because of the tax advantages. What do you mean by a tax advantage?
So in essence, when the contribution is taken out before persons employed, the contribution, so you're contributing to a retirement scheme or superannuation fund, the contribution is taken out before taxes applied. So in effect, you're paying over less to the government of Jamaica. So your tax liability is reduced. So that is the first benefit. And in essence, with when you're looking on the fund, how it is that we have the assets, everything is grows. So your money is able to grow faster. So you're getting that tax benefit from the fact that, one, you're taking contributions out of your from your salary before taxes applied, and the second one now is in terms of the investment. So your money is able to grow faster, and that is what you want. You want your money to be growing faster, compounding, so that when you are at retirement, you have that amount that say, yes, okay, this can help to support and give me the quality of life that I deserve.
Okay, so I got that. And then what you're saying is, again, because we're talking about being set for life, it's not just about contributing to whatever retirement or pension plan there is. You're saying that needs to be supplemented with additional investments as well to make sure, again, that at the end of the day, we really have an awesome, I would say, pot of goals, of gold, of savings, investments, etc., so that we have that to carry us through, and that's really what's going to set us up for life.
Yeah.
Oh, great. All righty, thank you. Wow. So we're gonna dig more into that, Camille, because that's some great nuggets that you just shared, and we're loving the engagement, guys. And if you have any questions or anything that you want to be clarified, please feel free. You know, Marlene, I love the question you're asking, because Marlene is like, is this about pension or is it about investment? And the reality is that we're talking about being set for life. Life meaning all the way to end of life. And we're assuming that we're all going to be old when we die. Knock wood. We know we all would like to live a long life. You know, that's what we're rooting for. And what a lot of people, we realize, are not doing is they're not looking at that long-term trajectory of time. And that at some point you're going to have to stop working. What do we need to do from now to set up ourselves for life into retirement? So that's why you're hearing a lot of retirement speak and pension speak, and on top of the investing speak, because that's really what it's all about at the end of the day. It's what are we doing to go straight to the end of the game. We're not just stopping at the house acquisition and the car acquisition and the dream vacation. We're going right through to the end. And that's why you're hearing the kind of nomenclature being dropped here tonight. And the key thing is, guys, we're starting now. Start now. Yes, have your emergency fund in place. Start with that. Audit what your financial situation looks like. Set up your budget. Be consistent. And of course, with looking at options, like we said, you know, starting if you have like a retirement scheme, a retirement plan or pension plan in place, that is something you need to be contributing to. And then that also needs to be supplemented. So we're going to go more into those kind of more long-term sort of end of life investment opportunities and so on. So that's great. A quick question here. I love this question from Shanique. Does age matter? Does the age of the person matter while growing your money for your pension? I don't know.
So from 18 to 69, you can join a pension arrangement. From 18 to 69.
Okay. So I can start as young as age 18 and I can start as old as 63. So yes. The goal is though that we want to start closer to 18 than to 63. But hey, you know, the key word is start now. We know we have a varying range of ages of people watching the live. We have some Gen Zs and millennials and Gen Xers and even some boomers. But the key thing is start No, awesome. Richardo is asking an interesting question, and I'm deliberately going to table it tonight because, we're giving financial information and education. Because Richardo is asking specifically about a competitor's offering, if it is as good as a retirement fund. Now, the thing is, we can't really speak to a competitor's offering. But Camille, when you talk about a retirement fund, what is that exactly?
All right. So a retirement fund, in essence, what you're doing, you are saving for your salary when you stop actively working. So that is, and you have the power based on the fact that you're being consistent, controlling your expenses, and putting money away. You are just basically saving for when you stop actively working. So that is why it is important to start now, because it is a function of how much it is that you consistently put into your retirement account.
Thank you so much for that clarification there, Camille. And I know Camille is going to go into some tips later on in the discussion, tips on how one can choose the right retirement fund that's for them. Because, JMMB has, we know some of our competitors offer similar solutions, and maybe on the surface of it, you may think they're all the same thing. But the reality is that you can use certain key factors, as I call them, to determine which solution is right for you. A number of you are indicating in the comments, and we see them, that they'd love to speak to a financial advisor from JMMB. Feel free to DM us on whatever platform that you're on. You could send us a DM, Facebook, Twitter. Feel free to reach out and let us know, and we'll try. And certainly tomorrow, when shops open up back, our offices reopen, we'll definitely try and connect you with someone. Another quick question, Camille, do I do a lump sum into these plans, or it has to be monthly?
All right. So the beauty with and our solution is that it's based on your lifestyle and what it is that you can afford. So while we say yes, consistency, it could be one time for the year that you're able to contribute. But what you want to do is ensure that at least you are contributing. So it can be one time for the year that you put a lump sum in, but it would have to be within 20%, at maximum 20% of your earnings for the year. Or you can do it on a monthly basis or every 3 months. So it is based on what it is that you can afford. It's based on what it is that you have made an assessment and you said, this is what I need to contribute consistently to my retirement account so that I can achieve ultimately at the end of the day my financial goal.
All right, thank you. So we're going to go into more details, guys. We love the questions, we love the engagement, so keep them coming. But bear in mind, we do have more questions for Camille, so you may just be surprised that the response to the question that you have is going to be coming up very shortly. But this is great stuff. Clifton, we're going to jump back over to you a little bit, because based on what you shared with us initially when we started this discussion, I think certainly it's very laudable of you to share the fact that you've started early. Again, you're 20 years old. You work in an industry that already, unfortunately, carries a bit of a stigma in terms of how much people earn. But the reality is that I think it's very commendable that, in spite of that, obviously this is your job. We give thanks that you have a little work, and you are not letting whatever your income it is to stop you from starting to save for your future, and again, to set yourself up for life. Are you comfortable sharing with us what your retirement goal is, Clifton?
Retirement goal as it relates to financial retirement goal?
Yes. Or both. Why not? If you can, whichever one you're comfortable sharing.
Well, I don't necessarily have a retirement goal as it relates to the financial aspect of it. I'm just doing what I can, and then at the end of the day, if I should live, hopefully, because you mentioned that as well, if I should live to enjoy that whatever money that I would have invested in my retirement, then fine. Because I'm not a fussy person as it relates to that. I just want to ensure that I am fine at the end of the day, if needs be, as Camille stated earlier, that it's just putting something in place to be financially stable, or have some sort of income even though you're not working. But my goal when I retire, as it relates to things that I would like to attain, is just to leave some sort of legacy at the end of the day, to have something to say that yes, Clifton is known for this or whatever. So that's what one of my main goal is at the end of the day, to be known or to be a veteran in whatever that I put my mind to. So that's pretty much it for me when I retire. That's what I want to attain as a goal.
Okay, great. In terms of specific like assets that you'd like to own and acquire at some point to say, that's where you'd like to be, what do those look like to you?
Okay, so for me, I want to be a forensic pathologist. So one of my assets that I want to attain in Jamaica, Jamaica doesn't have a lot of forensic pathologists here. So one thing that I would really love to do for myself and for Jamaica as well is to have a medical examiner's office here. So it would take like it would put Jamaica on the map. That's what I would want for Jamaica, to be honest. To put them on the map as it relates to forensic pathology solving crimes and just giving back to the country pretty much. So that's one of my goals in life eventually.
Thank you. We love the giving back to the country part. I know we really do need more of our young people who are endeavoring to give back, and we thank you for that. So that's good to know then. I mean, so Clifton, in all of what's going on, obviously we're going through a very difficult time economically and financially, not only in Jamaica, but across the world with what the COVID-19 pandemic has done to our local and the international economy on a broader scale. It seems like you're still employed, so that's very fortunate, and it is a blessing. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
some people were negatively impacted. We hope that they're now being able to get back out to work as more and more businesses and sectors reopen for business. How do you stay focused on your end game goal, for later in life retirement and so on, despite the changing economic environment? What keeps you focused?
Well, what keeps me focused at the end of the day is my goals. To be honest, that's what give me the drive to actually go after whatever I want. And I'm the type of person that whatever I want or whatever I put my mind to, I tend to attain it. So putting my mind to whatever I would want to attain at the end of the day, that's how I look at it. I know that with the whole economy, it's has been fluctuating. So I don't really focus on that, to be honest, because as stated earlier, as Camille stated earlier as well, you're looking at the final picture at the end of the day. That's what my main goal is. Even though it may be burdensome currently, but eventually it will get there, and I think we're getting there as a country, and I hope we get there as a country, to be economic economically stable. So at the end of the day, I think I don't really pay mind to what's happening here in the country. I just want to ensure that I'm giving back. I just want to ensure that whatever I'm doing is going to benefit me at the end of the day. So it doesn't really matter with what's happening with the economy currently.
Thank you so much for that, Clifton. Sorry, I didn't realize I was muted. Uh-huh. Thank you so much for that, Clifton. We really applaud, your commitment not only to your own personal goals, but also keeping in within those goals a need to give back and to impact the lives of others. So we really appreciate that. And we're going to hear back from Clifton a little later on when we come to our final nugget. So what we're going to do now is we're going to flip back over to Camille, because Camille, there are tons of questions in the comments, girl, about these pension plan, retirement plan, how we set up ourselves for later in life, for retirement. So, guys, we're going to get to that right now. And as I said, guys, we're talking to everybody in this conversation. This is not just for the over 40 people. This is for the 20-year-old people and the 30-year-old people, because the key takeaway from this conversation is that we're starting now. We're starting today. So, Camille, lady back in the hot seat, how does a retirement fund work? Break it all down for us, please.
All right. So how the retirement fund works is that you are putting contributions into a pension arrangement. And what is happening is that the investment manager, he is picking his assets, ensuring that, okay, fine, what he's investing in, whether it is a conservative approach, moderate approach, aggressive approach, he is ensuring that he adds value to whatever contributions that you are putting into the fund. So that is how the first layer of it, that is how it works. So the monies go into the fund and it is invested and we add value. And when it comes now to what we call the distribution phase or at retirement now, what we're going to be doing is purchasing your salary. So it is an annuity, but we're going to be purchasing your salary. So when we purchase your salary now, the money is frozen at that point in time. So that is why you need to ensure and say, okay, fine, what it is that I am putting now into the fund, it is going to give me the quality of life that I want, that goal. So you would have done a vision board, or you would have looked on all of it and you would have documented it. And it's coming back to the ABC plan, which is that you're going to be holding yourself accountable to ensure that you document your goals, doing the necessary action to be a part of a pension arrangement. And then after that, you're going to be monitoring things and trying to do things consistently. So at the end of the day, it is easier, or you're able to accomplish your goals. So in essence, what we're looking on is that the retirement fund works. You put in your contributions on a consistent basis. You have a pot of funds at the end of the day, and that pot of funds is used to purchase your salary, and that is going to be the monthly amount that you're going to get for the remainder of your life.
Awesome. So I like the fact that you clarified that there could be different approaches. So it's so you're putting your money in this fund, and an investment manager takes that money and invests it in different types of financial instruments.
Yes.
And as you said, they could be conservative in their approach in how they invest, like in money market type instruments, or it could be a moderate or a more aggressive approach where they may be investing in things like stocks, right? How do you guys determine how aggressive you invest, or I choose which one I want?
Excellent question, Kerry. So what we're looking at when we have that conversation with you, what we're looking at, we're taking into consideration your age and where you are in your life cycle. So we're looking on whether or not you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, because what we're doing, we're saying, okay, fine. At age 20, you should be able, and the general thing is that you should be able to take on more risk. So as such, we'd have a conversation with you, get a feel as to, do you want to invest in the aggressive fund? Because we know that you have a longer window to retirement. If you invest in at age 20, you have around 40 years to retirement. So we'd say, okay, fine, the aggressive fund has more, has more equity, so as such, you could go into the aggressive fund. Then now we say, okay, fine. Suppose you started off late. So you started off at age 50. So you have a shorter window to retirement. So what we want to do is have a more conservative approach now with respect to investment and how it is that it's managed, because we know that you have a shorter window. So we put you, there are different buckets, we put you based on the particular type of where you are in your life, based on the conversation that we're having with you. And we say, conservative, aggressive, or moderate, because it is based on where you are in your life cycle and your risk appetite. Well, so you may be 20, but you said, look here now, I am not the equities thing in my portfolio. No, not into it, not at all. And as such, we say, okay, fine, why don't go into the moderate fund? So that is a type of conversation that we have with you, and to get a sense and feel as to what is the most ideal fund for you.
Thank you so much, Camille. And question then, how does inflation affect my retirement fund at all, as we talk about returns over time?
All right. Inflation impacts any investment. So with respect, when you're looking on inflation now, and in the accumulation phase, so when you're actively contributing and putting your money towards your retirement account in the accumulation phase, what you're going to be looking for now with respect to the financial planner is one that has a track record of outpacing and outperforming inflation. That is what you're looking for. So that is in the accumulation phase. So when you're having a conversation with a financial advisor, you're going to sit down and say, oh yes, man, the returns were, good, excellent last year. The stock market was excellent. But what about the last 5 years? What about the last 10 years? That is where you get a feel as to whether or not they have been performing. So those are the type of questions that you need to ask your financial advisor. So you're making a more informed decision as to the financial partner that you're choosing. And then now, in the distribution phase, and the distribution phase now is when you stop actively working now and you're getting, your monthly pension, your monthly amount. And inflation is going to erode whatever it is that you may have said. It is going to erode it. So what is the approach that you're going to have with respect to at that particular point in time? Again, it's a conversation as to how is it I can preserve my money so that I don't, one, outlive it, and two, ensure that I can still have that quality of life consistently up until the end of my life.
Thank you so much, Camille. And I think that's great to know, because again, it comes down to the conversation, because you need to know how the fund, yes, has been performing over time. You're in a fund that's aligned with how much risk you want to take. And just to be clear, that we're not talking, you couldn't really, you're not looking for an interest rate of return. It's not like the pension plan is saying, okay, or the retirement plan is saying, okay, we're paying 10% a year or 5% a year, because the thing is, performance can vary over time depending on the investments that the investment manager makes with the fund and so on. But the key thing is to make sure you're in the right investment based on your stage of life, how many years you have left to retirement, and of course, how much risk you're willing to take on as well. I think that's very important. Another question that I know a lot of people have is, suppose I were to unfortunately lose my job or move from working with one employer to becoming self-employed, how is my contribution to the retirement plan impacted? Because I know there are a couple of questions here where people want to know, well, suppose I'm not even working, can I still contribute to a retirement plan?
All right, so again, with the pension arrangement, and specifically with JMMB pension arrangement, if you were to lose your job, what it would happen is that you're not actively contributing. So you don't have a job for 1 year. So the money still continues to grow interest. So we would classify you as not an active contributor. So it is not something that will lapse. There are no, with respect, so it continues to grow. So that is one of the important things. So it gives you that peace of mind. So to know that, okay, I have lost my income, so I would not have to contribute that monthly amount anymore. So it is no longer a burden. So I can, move forward and say, maybe when I get another opportunity, I can start making the contributions again. So there is no penalty for if you stop making the contributions, and your money still continues to grow. Now, when you're looking on moving forward with respect to whether it is you're moving from self-employed or you're moving from being employed to self-employed, what you can do, you can still make your contributions, and it is even more so important for persons who are self-employed, because you would have put in the work, you would have done the hustle, you would have put in the work. You need to ensure that you have that safety net so you can still consistently contribute to the retirement account, even if you're self-employed.
Thank you. And so even if I'm unemployed and I can still find a way to make the contributions, I can still do so?
Yes, you can.
That's good to know. That's very good to know. Thank you for that. What can you say with regards to the safety of my retirement fund? So things like, will taxes and fees and falling interest rates and so on affect my plan? I mean, how safe and secure is it? How protected is my savings and investments in a retirement fund?
So the protection, the first level of protection is that we're regulated. We're regulated by the Financial Services Commission. So we're not out there by ourselves, we're regulated. So we have to abide by certain submissions. We are regulated and approved by the Financial Services Commission. So that is one level of security. And the next thing now is that what we're doing, so whether it is with respect to taxes, now one of the things that you get the tax benefit of being a part of a pension arrangement. When you retire, yes, you may be getting a monthly income, so you still have to manage how it is that, any tax implications at retirement. Now, interest rates, when you're looking on interest rates, what the portfolio manager, so whether it is a conservative fund, whether it is a moderate fund, aggressive, each of those portfolios are diversified. So it's not just putting your eggs in one basket and getting one based on one particular asset class. So by virtue of the fact that one, we're regulated by the Financial Services Commission, two, we have a diversified portfolio that covers all the bases with respect to interest rate and how it is that you have or manage the portfolio and the security you get from it.
Thank you so much for that. So it's good to know about the regulatory part, because it means what the regulators really ensure is that we're not investing people's money unwisely and not too much into one area over another. Is that basically what the purpose of the regulation
yes,
is?
Yeah, yes.
This aspect of the conversation is great. Another question. I know that obviously we spoke about starting as young as possible, as early as possible in life. And even whenever you start, as I get closer and older and closer to retirement, should I be re-evaluating my retirement plan, or suppose my financial situation improves? Suppose as I earn more money over time, as I get older, should I be re-evaluating my retirement plan? What are some of the things that I need to do or need to look out for as triggers to know, okay, I need to look back at my original retirement plan when I started it?
So the answer for that is, with respect to monitoring, is yes. So throughout your life cycle, you have different aspirations, whether it is when you're starting out, you want to further your education, you want to buy a house, you want to buy a car. So at different stages of your life, you're going to have different goals. So at each particular stage, you need to be monitoring how much it is that you can afford and what it is that you can put towards your retirement account. So yes, you have to monitor it. One of the things that you're looking for is that if you get an increase in salary, if you have additional funds, that you can put it towards your retirement, because what you want to compound, what you want to unlock is that planning premium, so to speak. It is unlocking the opportunity for you to say, okay, fine, with putting the money forward, with contributing consistently, I'm able to, have what it is that I would have set out, what I would have documented as my financial goal.
Thank you for that, Camille. Another question that I'm seeing coming up, and guys, we love the questions, so keep dropping them. I know Camille has been responding to some of them, so I'm flipping through. What's the minimum that I would typically need to start in an average amount to start in a retirement plan like what we're discussing here?
As little as $500 on a month. As little as
US,
that.
US.
So and one of the questions that you would have asked Clifton before was, some persons may have said, I can't afford it. And one of the things I always say, if you cannot afford it, no. Can you imagine then when you're in retirement? So, so what you have to do is, no matter what it is that you can afford, 100 is better than $0. 200, 500 is better than $0. So you need to be putting monies in there so that you can avoid that apprehension, that anxiety when you're getting closer to retirement. Because what we want to know is a peace of mind. So ensuring that you consistently save is going to help you achieve that.
Thank you. So guys, no excuses, $500, right? Not even the cost of a meal deal, okay? Just saying, $500. Let's get started. We were talking earlier before the live, guys, and just to set you in some context, right? Giving an example of if you were to make a contribution of, say, $4,500 a month, which fortunately for a number of people is an affordable amount, what that would look like. And I know our admin team in the back had put together a couple of examples here. So if you could bring that up for us now, guys, in the back with terms of examples. So let's say you start if you have 25, if you start at age 25 and you save $4,500 a month, and Camille, correct us if these numbers are incorrect. But in our retirement plan, like what we're speaking of here tonight, of course, we can only speak of what we provide. By the time you retire, assuming retirement age is like what, 65, thereabout, 60, 65, you end up with like $13 million by the end of retirement, by the time you reach retirement, right? Or here's another example. For 35 years, if you start at age 35, again, you have less time to retirement, but using the same $4,500 monthly contribution as an example, you end up with $7.4 million by the time you retire. And then, of course, if you start planning for retirement or start saving that same 4,500, you have 3.7 million. So, of course, the lesson is obviously the earlier you start, the better. If you don't start as early, then definitely maximize as much as you can, how much you put in the fund, so you end up with that. That's basically the lesson. But the point is, guys, that, please start early, start now, and put in and be disciplined and put it through. There was someone here who had a question about whether or not you can, when you reach retirement age, do you get a lump sum? Can you take a lump sum, or do you have to take it in these monthly payouts after you retire?
All right, so at retirement, you would have the option of getting up to 25% of whatever it is that you have accumulated tax-free. So you have that option.
Come again?
So
Sorry.
So whatever you have saved, whatever you have in that pot, whatever you have saved, you can get a maximum of 25% tax-free in your hand at retirement.
All right.
Or you can use the full amount to purchase your pension, but that is what you can get.
So would you recommend a lump sum, or you'd recommend a monthly payout? Which one would you recommend?
No. So it is. So in essence, one of the things when you're looking on retirement, one of the things I would have indicated earlier is that you're purchasing your salary. So if your salary monthly, so you're going to be getting a stream or a monthly amount for the remainder of your life. So in the option that you're getting at retirement is that 25% you're getting that lump sum in your hand, and 75% now we're going to use, and that is going to use to purchase your salary, that monthly pension for the remainder of your life.
Okay.
So because what we're working towards, and as one of the things that you would have indicated is that you want to be set for life. We recognize that every single thing is interconnected. How it is that you manage creating the emergency fund, every single thing is interconnected. Retirement is one such element. And what we're doing, we're creating that peace of mind, that security at the end of the day. So this is the amount. I've stopped working at age 60. I'm going to be getting this monthly amount for the remainder of my life. So that is how you set yourself up to win, and that is how you set yourself up to be set for life.
Wow. Awesome. Another question, Camille, because we've been talking a lot about these retirement plans, pension plans, etc. But let's just keep it real. Is that enough? Or should we be having a supplemental investment plan to set us up for life, and of course, including retirement?
All right. So, and again, it comes back to the conversation. So when we have the conversation with you, we are looking on the different pillars, the different things that will make up your portfolio. So different persons will have different things. Someone will say that they would have some rental income. Somebody would say that, don't worry, I'm self-employed, I'm making sure that I save my money. So you have different things. But one of the things that you're going to be looking for is just to ensure that you're consistently putting monies towards your retirement account so that you can achieve your financial goal.
Okay. Is there any specific types of investments that you recommend we have as part of our supplemental plan on top of?
So we have a supplemental portfolio solutions at JMMB.
Mm-hmm.
So you would have gotten the tax benefit by being a part of an approved pension arrangement. So you're getting the tax benefit. And then we're going to look on your portfolio and say, okay, fine, you have a gap. We have what we call a supplemental portfolio solution that we can offer to you to help to build out your portfolio and close the gap if necessary.
Okay, alrighty then. So there are these other investments, and I mean JMMB of course has different. I mean, we're a stockbroker, so you could invest directly in the stock market if you want. We have unit trust funds of different types, different, and then again we have these portfolio of investments. We covered it actually a couple of lives ago when we were talking about investing 101, where you can invest in these portfolio where it's same thing, the investment manager manages these funds by investing them in various assets, and all you really need to do is just keep putting your money in these types. So there's JMMB Wealth Builder, there's JMMB Graduate, depending on the goal that you have. And then we basically do the work for you, and you watch, basically sit and watch your money grow over time. So that's another awesome way to supplement your retirement income. Picking up a couple of great questions here, Camille. What if you die before you retire? What happens to the funds that you would have been saving in that retirement plan?
All right. So if you were to pass on before you start getting a monthly amount, one of the important and key things that we have is with respect to the documentation that you complete. So when you're completing the documentation, you would have to have named beneficiaries. So whether it is 2 named beneficiaries, it has to add up to 100%. So however it is that you would have allocated 50% to your daughter, 50% to your son, whatever it is that you would have saved, contributed, plus any interest earned, we are going to pay that out to your named beneficiaries that you would have put on the enrollment form. So on presentation of the death certificate by a family member or anyone, we're going to be paying out to the named beneficiaries. So it is important to, when you're completing the form, say, okay, fine, these are the persons that in case of my death, they're going to receive whatever amount that I would have contributed along with the interest earned.
Great. Thank you so much for that clarification. So we need to name our beneficiaries. Sean from Facebook, right before that, was asking, is there a penalty can you decrease your monthly contribution? So once I said, okay, I'm doing $2,000 a month. Suppose something happens, I lose my job, I still want to make contributions, but I can only do 1,000. Is there a penalty for doing that?
No penalty. And so it is based on what is happening. So we would have a solution that if you can't afford it, there's no penalty. There is no penalty. The money is still actively earning interest there. So when you're back on your feet, when you can increase it. And remember, we're looking on where you are in your life cycle. Now, you would have been contributing and consistently contributing. You would have been building up that financial muscle, those habits. And you say, okay, fine, I am going to possibly purchase a car or house. So finances are kind of tight right now. So, let me reduce it. Let me reduce it for the next 6 months, next year, let me reduce it. And then what you'd want to do, because remember, we have the ABC plan. So you're going to still, you're monitoring things, you're actively, you're trying to just manage things in an efficient and effective way. And when you're there now, you say, okay, fine. Given now that I have a little breathing room, I would have, I can possibly increase it. Because, I would have, managing how much it is that, my mortgage amount or whatever loan. So what you have to be doing is monitoring and say, I have a specific goal for my retirement. And given my situation now in life, I cannot afford that full amount. As such, I need to reduce it. So no, there's no penalty.
Thank you so much. Good news. Good news. Thanks for that question. Before that, Andrew from YouTube was asking if do you have pension plans in foreign currencies as well, or just J dollar?
It is J dollar, but the investment manager still can invest. This has some exposure to US dollar and to other currencies. Yes. Okay. So it is not straight just US dollar, but
great. Okay. So you would invest in J dollars, but there could be US dollar denominated.
Right. So there are some up to a specific limit. Yes, sir. We've been getting exposure to other currencies.
Great. That's very good to know. All right. Thanks, Gamila. Gamila is a part of the JMMB family and Camille's team. She's also helping us with some responses here on Facebook. Thanks so much, Camila, because we love these questions, guys. These are great questions. Can you borrow from your pension plan, Camille? Here's a question coming in.
No, you cannot. Facebook. You cannot borrow. No, you cannot. No, you cannot.
Okay. Not advised either.
No.
Because remember, guys, we're setting up for life. We don't want anything to negatively impact that goal. Okay, borrow from something else. Get an unsecured loan that won't mash up your debt service ratio. But no, we're not borrowing from the liquor retirement plan. Yes. Great question. Forgive me, I don't know if I'm pronouncing these names, Kefash. Can I start a pension plan for my child? What you said, you have to be 19 or something?
18 age eligibility requirements, 18 to 69 years.
Okay, so I technically can't start it for my child. Okay. Well, I mean, you can start an investment account for your child.
We have other solutions. So for any particular goal, whether it is for your child's education, whatever, but we have that solution. So again, it is coming in, having that conversation and having that holistic conversation. That is what we want you to do. We want you to come in, we can do it virtually also. Have a conversation with you so that we can set you on the right path. We want you to win, we are on the sidelines, financial coach, cheerleader. We are excited. We want you to win. So whatever particular solution, whatever goal, we can get you there.
Great. Thank you so much. So, and I think it's, Rosemary had actually asked a question here. I mean, we are not able to answer this specific question, but I think it's important to highlight it. Rosemary from YouTube. Calculate what my contribution would look like if my contribution was $20,000 a month and she's over 50, and I guess, between now and retirement. The reality is that part of the conversation, and again, a question like this would be best answered in a personalized conversation with a financial advisor, because what we're basically doing is we would be able to calculate how much you need to retire with in order, based on the life expectancy that you could possibly be set to have between when you retire versus end of life, right? And then from that, we can gauge how much you should be contributing to your retirement plan between now and retirement in order to hit that goal. Essentially, that's what we would be doing in a conversation like that. Correct, Camille?
And Rosemary, thank you for that question. So even with respect to the tools, so the more information you have, the more informed decisions you take. So even on our platform, one of the things that we have is a retirement calculator. And we also have it on our website, so a retirement calculator that you can actually plug in information and it actually gives you a projection. So the more information you have, the more informed decisions you make with respect to how it is that you can achieve your financial goal, your retirement goal.
Awesome. Thank you for that. So the encouragement is, guys, have the conversation. I know there are a number of persons in the comments have expressed a desire to speak to someone at JMMB. Please DM us, reach out to us either on social media, in the comments, in a DM, or on our website. There's a nice contact us page. You can send us an email. We do have a retirement calculator, yes, on the website as well. There is the URL information there, where you can actually play with some numbers and see what things look like on your end. But we'll be happy to speak with you. So our encouragement is, please reach out to us via our social media channels or by phone, 998 JMMB, or on our website. The contact us page is there. Send us your contact information. We'll be happy to have the discussion with you, because a lot of these are more personalized, customized conversations.
Yeah.
Now, before we move into our final nugget, and guys, just to be clear as well, because we see some questions coming up, which the answers of which we would have provided earlier in the discussion. So remember, guys, we're broadcasting live now, but this session is being recorded. And between tonight and tomorrow, the recording of this entire session is going to be posted on all of JMMB Group's platforms on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. So you can go back at your leisure, break out the popcorn, break out the pen and paper, and have a look and watch over again. And I'm sure you're going to see your questions being answered earlier in the discussion, because that's the beauty about a nice replay. You can rewind, pause, go back, make your notes. And of course, if you found this information valuable, share it with a loved one. So before we go into our final nugget, we're just going to do our usual housekeeping matters, right? Now we are again, we're recording this session. It's going to be uploaded between tonight and tomorrow. And again, we are open to speaking with you. We couldn't get to all the questions. We just love questions, but we couldn't get to all the questions tonight. So feel free to reach out to have a specific conversation for your unique situation. And of course, we like to share what's coming up next week. Now, next week is going to be awesome again, like all of our discussions, because now there are a lot of conversations around buying your home, buying a property, buying an investment property. That's still happening, right? People still in the business of wanting to buy a home, people saving towards a home, looking to take out a mortgage to buy a home, investment property, or property. So guess what now? Next week is going to be dedicated to that. And that topic is so huge. JMMB Goal Getter Live is not just going to be on Tuesday next week. It's going to be on Tuesday and Thursday next week. And here's it, guys. You're not going to get this anywhere else. On Tuesday, we're going to be kicking off with the topic, the 10 things that they don't tell you about acquiring a home. Okay, guys? So just a clue, it's not as romanticized. All of us who watch HGTV, House Hunters, and all these things, it's not as romanticized as we see it on TV. It can be a very involved process filled with a lot of twists and turns, and unfortunately, or fortunately, sometimes pleasant and unpleasant surprises. And next week, we're going to be breaking it down for you. And starting off on Tuesday, the topic is going to be the 10 things they don't tell you about acquiring a property. And next week, we're going to be talking with attorney at law. We're going to be talking to real estate agent. And of course, one of our mortgage specialists are going to be here next week to give you all the details, break it down, give you the tea, tell you how the thing go. So you're going to be here next week, whether you are buying a home or an investment property, a piece of property, commercial property, or you're thinking about it, you're going to want to be here next week. Because trust me, nuggets going drop or you never hear nowhere else. Okay. So that's great. So next week, Tuesday, 8:30 p.m., same place, JMMB platforms, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. 10 things they don't tell you about acquiring a home. Follow us on our social media channels to get the details. And again, feel free to share the link to this recording. And now we're going to bring it back to Camille and Clifton. So Clifton, thank you so much again for sharing your story and for sharing, really, really encouraging words, especially for those people just entering the workforce and just starting out on their journey to set themselves up for life all the way into retirement. Could you share with us, Clifton? And I'm going to just kind of go off script here a little bit. Of all the things that we've been discussing tonight, and I know you've been listening as well as sharing, what would you recommend someone do tomorrow morning as they wake up in order to set themselves up for life? What's your nugget as far as, okay, guys, of all the things we would have discussed, we would have shared, Camille would have shared, we would have discussed on this live, what do you believe is the number one thing that everybody should do, anybody who wants to set themselves up for life should do first thing as they wake up tomorrow and jump out of bed? I think you're
well, what I'd recommend someone to do is to set a retirement plan. Pretty much find some organization. JMMB is one of the organization that I'd recommend that you guys try and set up a pension plan with, as it would have you set for life, as the slogan of the webinar now. So I just recommend that you start a pension plan, because as I stated earlier, and as Camille and you as well, Carrie Ann, stated, that every mickle makes a muckle. And at the end of the day, if you are throwing $20 to whatever the pension, it will add up. It may not be a lump sum as to someone throwing a $5,000 or so per month, but over the years it would add up, and then you would have that money to say, yes, I have this money to do something. I won't have to worry about income or where I'm gonna get the cent from to do whatever business or whatever. So you'd be at ease and you would have a peace of mind. So I'd recommend anybody at any time, strongly recommend them to have a retirement plan set up with whatever group, well, a credited group rather, so that at the end of the day you would be set for life.
Thank you so much, Clifton. So Clifton's nugget there, we heard it, folks, is to get started on that plan, especially in particular on that retirement plan. No matter how young you are, you're going to get started. Camille, what's your nugget? What's the first thing you recommend someone do as they wake up tomorrow morning if they want to set themselves up for life and heading into retirement?
So the first thing, underscoring that you need to start now, there's a call to action and you have to hold yourself accountable, putting in place the ABC plan. So holding yourself accountable to just get it done, call to action to ensure, yes, you start now. And the financial position that we want you to be in is that we want you to be empowered to achieve the quality of life that you deserve.
Love it, love it. So we're starting now, putting your ABC plan in place, and just do it. Just do it. Get it in place and stick to it. Be consistent. Thank you so much, guys. Can we get a virtual usual round of applause in the comments for Clifton, for Camille? Can we big them up? Big them up. They've been so good. I mean, this has just been a very informative session. As I said, we got so many questions because, guys, remember, we're broadcasting across Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. We got a ton of questions. We couldn't get to all the questions. But again, we are very happy to field as many questions as we could. And of course, JMMB is always here. The shop is opening tomorrow. Where we'll be happy to have the conversations with you either in person or over the phone. So reach out to us on social media, website, in branch, over the phone. We'll be happy to speak to you because this is a conversation that needs to be had. We want everybody to be ready and to be prepared and know that nothing is stopping you guys from getting started. And if you have any particular questions about your unique situation, again, have the conversation and we'll be happy to pilot you through it. And guys, yes, we love it. Big up. We see the applause coming in. We love it. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Clifton, for being our willing victim. I'm kidding. For being so open and sharing with us. Thank you for your vision for yourself. We wish you all the best. We look forward to your success in your forensic pathology goal and what you plan to do in the future. Camille, we know you're going to continue to do what you do best, which is piloting all of our clients into a wonderful, safe, and secure retirement. And again, guys, watch the replay, go back, have a look. And again, next week, Tuesday and Thursday, we're kicking off on Tuesday. Anybody in the market to buy a home property, investment property, the 10 things that they didn't tell you, we're going to break down the tea for you next week. So stay tuned. Follow us on our social media channels. Share our content. Stay tuned because we're going to give you all the details of how you can be right back here getting all the great information that you need to not only navigate the time of COVID-19, but life afterwards. So thanks again, everybody. Stay safe. Be good to each other. Be good to yourself. And have a great rest of the night. Bye, everybody.